This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Brueski.
Licensed psychologist Dr. John Delatorre is joining us today. We're talking about the school resource officer, Scott Peterson. This is the officer who was at the school, who failed to go in when there was an active shooter going on. A very tragic case all around. Obviously, many kids died. He, in many interviews I've seen, he looks genuinely regretful for the decisions that he made, but he did, in fact, not actually go in. We're seeing some more of this where officers are not responding when they should be. Can you speak to that at all? What are we dealing with psychologically here, where you have someone who is there to protect and serve, but ultimately fails to do so?
I think you got a lot of things that are going on. First of all, what I would say is that there is a cultural zeitgeist against law enforcement, just in general, and I totally understand why. I understand the history of law enforcement in this country. However, when you target an institution, it makes it so that only certain individuals would even be willing to participate in that organization. It essentially kneecaps the ability for appropriate recruitment. And so what we have maybe are individuals who like to believe themselves to be capable of engaging in protect and serve activities. But the reality is that when they're confronted with that situation, they're not going to respond. Now, it could be because their own internal makeup doesn't allow it to happen. They're afraid, which anybody would be.
Sure.
No one wants to go into a place and get shot and die. But it also makes it so that maybe the training is also compromised, that the individuals who are supposed to be providing the training necessary to override and overcome that instinct of self-preservation, to override that, to go into the line of fire. Maybe those individuals aren't appropriate either. So I think it's easy to say that it is one person being a coward. I think that's easy.
Yeah.
I think it's a lot harder to say, you know what? He only did what most of us would probably do, which is cower and hide. There's nothing wrong with that. What's wrong is that there might have been other things that were at play that are much larger than him that we need to be taking a look at.
I would suspect the same thing. And that's what I'm wondering about. What sort of things need to be changed or adjusted so we don't have a situation like this again, where someone who that is their job, basically to go in and take a bullet for a kid if they have to, and to protect and serve. But some, I get it. Fear. I wouldn't want to do that either. That's why I would never sign up for that job. Sure. But I think if I were a parent standing there and that were going on, I can't say because I've never been in that situation, but I think I'd be running in, trying to do what I could with gun or no gun, as I think a lot of parents even demonstrated when we saw the tragedy at Uvalde. You had parents trying to break the line of police officers and go in because no one was doing anything. Is this more systemic of, is it the training? Is it the fear of I could do something wrong and there'll be repercussions for that? Where does the compromise, or where does some of the fixing begin on something like this?
I think what you mentioned is accurate, right? I think that's correct. But to me, that's too far down the link of the chain. I think we need to start so much earlier. The issues that we have when it comes to policing, in particular, how do we stop mass killings just in general?
Sure.
I think that what we want to do is target harden, right? We want to make it harder for people to get into a school. But the problem is that that's only creating a prison setting for our children. We actually need to look far, far earlier in the links of behaviors that are associated with someone committing these acts. We need to have better access to medical care. We need to have better access to mental health care. Schools and teachers should be better funded. They should have more money. They should be able to have, the necessary resources that they need. There needs to be school psychologists that are actually trained in contemporary bullying and other mental health issues. Communities that were low income should be further invested so that they're no longer lower income, right? But these are societal changes, right? We need to change how we live in order to stop these things from happening, because I can guarantee you can make a school or you can make a workplace a prison and there's still going to be violence.
Sure. It's more so systemically changing how society is functioning and how we handle this versus just trying to figure out how to make a better Band-Aid.
Yes.
This is an examination of the hidden human condition.
This is the Hidden Killers Podcast.
The Hidden Killers Podcast.
With Tony Brueski.
John Delatorre, licensed psychologist. Thank you so much for your insight onto this case. Always appreciate having you on the air. If you want to weigh in on anything that we're talking about, you can do so. 888-5-KILLER is our phone number. 888-554-5537. If you want to weigh in, we would love to hear from you. My name's Tony Brueski. You can follow me on Twitter @TonyBPod. Stay with us.